Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to today's webinar talking about Introduction to Business Central, Dynamics 365 Business Central. My name is Kuldeep and I will be your host today in regards to today's webinar. So without any further ado, let's get started. We are starting up with today's webinar, which is talking about Introduction to Dynamics 365 Business Central. So let's get started with further topics down the line. As part of today's webinar, we would be discussing a brief overview about Dynamics 365 Business Central, what exactly that is, how it can help the bigger audience, help your customer or prospective customer in terms of small to mid-scale ERP implementations. We will be discussing some of the top level concepts associated with that, key areas, key functionalities and modules the product itself provides, followed by a quick overview navigation demonstration by that, and feel free to have all of your questions and answers. So I thank you very much to everybody who's joining us from Zoom meeting, Teams Live, Facebook Live, and multiple streaming engines down there. Feel free to have your questions posted at any given point of time. We will be addressing them down the line when we'll be discussing all these concepts in here. So let's get started when we talk about Dynamics 365 Business Central. So it is a great ERP solution from Microsoft Dynamics 365 product line, which helps you run your entire business with a single solution, whether it is financials, cash management, sales, purchasing, whether it is related to integrated artificial intelligence, whether it's related to efficient reportings down the line, your KPIs, dashboard reportings down the line. So you can pretty much have all these executions at the same place. You can utilize this product from Microsoft to run your entire business, being a small or mid-scale enterprises down there. When we talk about a little bit about Business Central, what it is, so it is a business management solution for small scale and mid scale organizations that automates and streamlines business processes and which definitely help you manage your business. Now, no need to say that Microsoft used to have a couple of products down the line. When we talk about the ERP segment from Microsoft, we used to have Dynamics AX down the line. We used to have Dynamics NAV, an acronym for Navision down the line. We used to have Dynamics GP, that's for Great Plain. We used to have Dynamics SL for Solomon and C5 and furthermore down there. Now, slowly and gradually, Microsoft improved these product lines day by day, and now Dynamics AX is referred as Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations for mid to large scale organizations. Navision has been transitioned into Business Central. So this is Microsoft Dynamics Nav, which now became Business Central, Dynamics 365 Business Central being the latest edition. I've got Great Plains available, SLL further available in the market down there. So being into Business Central, it definitely helps you increase your financial visibility across organization with your role center pages, whether you are a CFO, whether you are an accounting manager, whether you are the CIO, whether you are the CEO or board of directors, everybody might have their different role centers associated with them. We do have optimized supply chain solutions with Business Central, Dynamics 365, taking care of your end-to-end procure to pay or ship to supplies down the line situations over there. It boosts your sales, of course, and improve the customer service by putting everything into a centralized product down there. It deliver your projects on time and of course under budgets. So when we talk about how this product actually work, how can we start utilizing it, that was one thing about Business Central associated over here. Now, when we talk about some of the top level concepts which we can always have in place, what exactly these top level concepts can help us. So we are talking about some of the module level functionalities the product itself provides. So it helps you cater your financial needs. So you want to make or collect some payments, you want to manage your cash flows, you want to defer your incomes and revenues being an organizations, you want to go for a year-end closing, you want to manage your fixed assets down the line. You can get it done through the financial functionalities out of the product. I've got my business intelligence available with that, so you can get insights to your performance of your business activities. You want to do it through budgets, you want to do it through multiple options, you want to go for account schedules, you want to analyze some views down there, so you can have it from the Business Central as well. At the same point of time, it does provide you the sales functionality, which helps you take care of your entire sales process informations. For example, quotations, orders, sales order returns, managing customers, making drop shipments, consignment accounting, and further and so on. It does provide you the purchasing capabilities within the product itself that helps you managing your purchasing processes. For example, vendor invoices, purchase orders, vendor order returns, vendor account informations, purchasing items from sales documents directly down there, making RFQs down the line over there. So it helps you giving the inventory related information as well, being the module. So you can register your new inventory or any service type items. You can categorize those items for easy searching. You can adjust those inventory levels down there. You can perform some common inventory and costing tasks. So what we are discussing here is a typical functionality what every ERP software in the industry must provide, and that's being in Business Central. What capabilities do we have? It gives us functionalities related to project management, where you can create jobs and schedules, you can have resources for your projects, you can manage your job budgets, you can monitor the project progress down there, you can track your machine and employee hours down the line, and have your timesheet submissions associated with that. It does provides us the fixed assets capability, and having said that, it organizes your fixed assets. It's ensure the correct periodic depreciation is applied over there. It keep tracks of your maintenance cost being into Business Central. It does provide you with the functionality for relationship management that will help and manage your sales efforts and focus on the interactions what you do with your customers and contacts with there. It does help you with human resource functionality. So taking care of an end-to-end HR solution could be quite important for any organization. So it keeps detailed record of your employees, master data, timesheets, their benefits, their absence management for analysis purposes, of course. And it does provide you the planning when you talk about the master planning functionality. So you can plan your production operations being a manufacturing organization, which are required to transform your inputs into the finished goods by production orders and multiple things. It does provide you assembly management there. So you can put your sellable items together in simple steps to make a new item. So you have small parts down there, which itself are finished goods at some stages, and you assemble them to make a new item, for example, a kit or something. You can go for manufacturing down there, whether it is discrete manufacturing, whether it is lean manufacturing, so that defines your shop floor resources and their capacities. You can schedule your production operations. You can pull production components. You can execute your production operations down the line. It does provide you the capability for advanced warehouse management, where you can ensure the effective flow of goods that are received and shipped down the line, including your transfer orders if required. That talks about workflows associated with that. So you can set up and use workflows that could be a great help for any kind of approvals, any kind of approval functionality you might want to make down the line over there. It does provide you helping exchanging data electronically. So if we are talking about the EDIs, electronic document interchanges down there, we want to go for automatic postings, we might want to go for automated payments down there. We can pretty much have all those details down the line. It enables the user to exchange data with external sources. For example, receiving and sending electronic documents, importing and exporting bank statements, updating currency exchange rates, and so on and so forth. It does help provide you in regards to your incoming documents as well. It will record your external document in Business Central, the document management, including their attachments, of course, and then manually create the related records, purchase orders, or something. So you do have options for service industries in multiple areas down the line. So having said that, what exactly does the provided product itself does? That gives you plenty of operations as what we have discussed in here in regards to your day-to-day needs. Being a small or a mid-scale organization, that helps you taking care of all these modules down the line, what we can achieve as part of our Business Central. Now, how do we start working with that? Let me quickly give you a brief overview about the same functionality. Let me quickly refresh that. So I'm logging into my labs over here. So let me go to mylabs.gtechlearn.com, and I've got my virtual machine allocated to me. I'm connecting through over here where I'm pretty much working with that particular functionality. Important thing to notice, guys, just in case if you want to work on how these things should be working for you, if you want to subscribe to Business Central, you can activate your free trial being a customer or partner, or you can always visit us at labshosting.com. That will give you the ready to use practice labs for your POCs, for your development purposes, for your testing, for any kind of proof of concepts or anything across multiple technologies. You can subscribe it from here as well. Anyways, let me take you to Business Central. So I am currently logged in to my Business Central area where I can see this is Dynamics 365, and I'm talking about Business Central functionality. There is a sample organization what we have created, Kronos Canada Inc. And the default currency I'm using is my Norwegian kroner, so I'm using KRs down there. You can see I've got my sales functionality here. I've got my purchasing functionality down the line. I've got my inventory associated here. I have some posted documents which I can work, followed by I do have some self-service associated in here. Now, having said that, how these functionalities actually work, I'm currently logged in as a super user into the system, which is helping me creating everything from there. So I'm currently logged in as a system administrator. Now, at any given point of time, I can switch roles with authentication and authorization and start working with the same thing. So currently, this is a Business Central hosted on premises, so it's installed and configured at on-prem. You can always have your cloud hosted solution as well as part of your D365 licensing, subscription access licensing mechanism. Now, when we talk about all these functionalities, everything's what's related in here, let's come down to the queues and the queue groups. So you can see it's saying the sales orders, sales quotations, blanket sales orders, multiple things. And then I can see I've got 6 ready to ship sales orders as of now. Having said that, it is giving me some grouped information on my role center page that is helping me making some informed decisions or planning some of the forecastings based on that. I have 14 delayed orders, partially shipped 0, average delayed number of days is 7.5. I can see all these details. It is giving me some insights over here with the customer numbers, what is the balance we need to focus on, giving me some insights down there. If you do have embedded Power BIs configured or the Power BI integration support down the line, so you can start working with, get started with Power BI, going to powerbi.com and have your integrations available. You do have some charts and dashboards associated available here, talking about trailing sales orders and multiple details down the line. So when we talk about how exactly these functionalities works, that's one of the example when we talk about how pretty much my Business Central is going to work right across as far as some of the navigations are concerned. If you talk about user options, a little bit on the navigations, you can go on design, you can go for my settings. So what if I click on my settings? I'm talking about user settings. So currently I'm having a sales order processor role center page for this organization on which particular date with the language, the region, and multiple things. What if I'm clicking over here and I'm actually looking for a different role center? This time I would be looking for accounting manager. So let me have my accounting manager selected, clicking OK. So I'm changing my role center page to accounting manager, and this would refresh my browser interface here to reflect the current role center. Now let's take a look. Being an accounting manager, that's what we get. I've got some actions available which talks about some menu items which will kick off some functionalities down the line. I've got the insights available to me related to payments and cash management, not sales orders actually, because that's being accounts manager. I've got my cash management, some of the incoming documents which are set up electronically, my recent vendors and customers information, some of the reports which I can expect right across in here. So when you talk about your settings area, you can customize your settings in terms of language, in terms of format, in terms of which company you're working up, your session date down there, and what role center we are talking about. So what if I go being a sales manager? Instead of a order processor, I'm moving to sales manager role center page and let it get refreshed. That will show me information related to being a sales manager, what information I'm expecting in here. So you can see that is giving me the customer's insight over here. If I've got some chart, what is the default daily performance, my trailing orders down there, the tasks which are assigned to me and which are not completed. I can do some actions over here. For example, I want to go for a customer top 10 list. And I just clicked on that one. That opens me the reporting area which talks about how can we start working and getting that information along. So I would like to see my balance instead of sales values, and it is going to be top 10 or top 15 or top 20 or top 5. We can define that across in here. I want to have it as a bar chart, for example. Okay, I can have multiple filters on customer account number, the posting group, currencies, and multiple things. Let me use a default, and I would like to have a preview. I can send it and save it to a file. I can send it to a print for a printer. So I'm pretty much having a preview over here of this particular report, which talks about my top 10 customers. Not specifically about that. I'm just trying to show you, being the beginners or the intermediates starting up with Business Central, what kind of user overview and navigational look and feel experience you might get switching to the product itself. So that's the report what I'm seeing in here. Let me zoom it up a little bit to show you the details. So let's take an example. I talked about top 10 customers list. That was from balance itself, not the sales value. So I've got sales, I've got the balance. So the data is sorted through balance itself being the highest on the top. And if you scroll it down, you're getting all this information, reports, and a bar chart associated to that. So that was one quick thing what we were supposed to do and what we just completed as part of that. All right, there was one thing which we talked about our Business Central experience when it comes to our role center page. So important thing what we discussed by far, we talked about my settings area. Now let's click on the design interface. So when you are into the design, you switch yourself into the personalization mode. So when we talk about user personalizations, what they are, for example, what if I don't want this component here? I really don't want it to be available. I may want to move it somewhere else. So you can have all these options down there. Whether it is for desktop view or a tablet view or a mobile view, you might want to shift it somewhere else. You might want to remove it. You might want to add something new to the personalization. So you can have all these personalizations covered right from here by clicking into design. If you talk about the same title bar, I've got this tell me what you want to do, and that's really great. Because being a functional consultant, that's really helping me to achieve what I'm looking for. For example, I'm looking for my payment methods. And when I click over here, you see that's telling me the payment methods availability down there. Now, it is important to notice, guys, this is not a new functionality. I would be quite honest with you, that's available from the very early releases of Dynamics Nav, and that's continued over here. Of course, the placement of that has been changed a little, but when you talk about payment method, and you would be surprised to know that this was the functionality which was initially available with Dynamics Navision, and then Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, which is an extended version of AX, adopted this functionality and included it across into the product. So when you talk about, for example, payment methods, I would like to go and apply some payment terms. So let me click on payment terms. Instead of finding from administration areas, sub areas, I can directly go from there. Let's say I want to create a new payment term, and that's going to be prepaid. So let's call it net 100% advance, the one which you want to call it. The due date calculations going to be 0 day. All right. What is going to be the discount percent? Nothing. We are not discussing cash discounts here. So let's call it net 100%, and I would like to call it a prepaid payment terms down there. So let me quickly save it. I just created this payment terms associated over here. I just added a new payment term. So once again, this demonstration was not talking about how to create or configure the payment terms. Indeed, I was showing you, once you click on this tell me what you want icon and you start searching anything. For example, I'm looking for customers. So when I click over here, you might want to go for a report, you might want to go for the pages, you might want to go for different reports and analysis down there. So let's say I want to go for the list of customers. So I can directly go from there, which will show me the list of available customers. I can start editing them. I can create new customers, of course. So that is helping me understanding what these functionalities are. So if we talk about an overview and navigational area, I've got this Dynamics 365 icon, and this is the Business Central being the product. Currently we are on customer, so this area will keep on changing, reflecting our current area of work. I've got tell me what you want, where you can start searching for the information at the same point of time. I've got the settings where we can have design and some of my personalized settings. I've got this question mark talking about help and support, or you want to talk about the latest version, going to community and all. And what is the current logged in user? I can see the user associated here, which is currently logged into the system. No need to say that. The product itself comes with the default Office integration support. So if I click on open in Excel, so we are talking about, I've got these customers records available with me, and I just exported them into the XLS file, and I can start opening them and start working along with the same thing. So that was one thing which was briefly talking about Business Central functionality from an end user or a beginner's perspective down the line. At the same point of time, I'm opening up my Visual Studio Code from here. So this is not ideal for end users or functional consultants, ideally for technical consultants, developer or solution architects. We intend to customize the application right from here. But before I do that, let me go over here and let's take a look. I've got my Business Central administration. I've got my Business Central administration shell. I've got my Business Central web client. So if I click on the Business Central web client, well, this is exactly where we were. We were evolving and we were analyzing with the Business Central web client, having this small demonstration from here. Now, what is my Business Central administration? If I open that up, let me say yes. And let me open that administration console for Dynamics 365 Business Center. And at any given point of time, you can see that this is my Business Central console. I've got the server, the server instance running up right across over here. I've got one. And if I connect to that, let me click over here. You can see that you have the information related to the general information, pretty much the same thing we used to have with the earlier versions down there. I've got my database information that this Business Central is connecting to which version of my SQL Server. So I've got this nav demo. This is a demo instance what we have configured. I can have the database related settings. You might want to have the client services availability. Might want to discuss about the SOAP services for the developers, simple object access protocol. You might want to access your data with OData services, open data protocols down there. You might want to go for the NAS services down there. You want to have the NAS debugging. So we can spend a couple of hours to an entire day discussing all these options, what these are. If you are integrated with Azure Active Directory and you've got some settings available with the Azure Key Vaults, we can start working and get these things analyzed right across from there. you can have your service account details, that the service is running with which particular service account. Since it was a demonstration VM, we just use the network service. Ideally, it's going to be a dedicated service account, especially for your on-prem implementations. You want to look for the database credentials which are available, the one which we are using. You might want to go for PowerShell histories, that what's the PowerShell, when we actually access that, on the dates and times and all those values. So I can see all these accessibilities from here when we talk about the Business Central administration console. You can add instances over here. For example, I want to do it for a test or a training or another instance, I can just start adding it right across from there. So that was one example which was talking about two different options. One, what is the web client, what is the administration, and of course we have an extended version of PowerShell commandlets, which is helping us to work with the Business Central command shell. So if you want to achieve something using PowerShell scripts, PowerShell commandlets over there, I can directly start working with this Business Central shell options down the line. So if I take you further to the PowerPoint presentation, what we were discussing, and coming back to the same area that we discussed, we've got plenty of options for finance, BI, sales, purchasing, purchase orders, multiple things. And being a ERP system down the line, your Business Central could be a one-shop stop, especially talking about the small scale customers or the mid-scale customers. If you're talking about finance and operations, that is also the ERP solution from Microsoft, but that is ideal for mid to large scale organizations down there. So we've got a couple of information, navigational overview down the line. We had a demonstration which was focusing on introduction to Business Central, talking about a brief overview of the product and a user navigation, whether it is for the web client, whether it is for the administration console, and to the developers. Ideally, that's something we are not discussing as part of this particular demonstration. But to the developers out there, once I've got my Visual Studio Code, I can have my CAL extension, that is my client access language. So client application language. When I talk about CAL, we know about Seaside. That was the client server integrated development environment, which was available in the previous releases up till now, 2017 and 18 down the line. And when we talk about Business Central, that has been shifted to Visual Studio. The standard itself is CAL. We are writing about CAL programming using extensions, but the ID is being shifted to Visual Studio over here. So that was a couple of information, some of the introductions when we talk about Business Central associated with that. Now let's go in here when we talk about a couple of more informations. So let me take you to my options down the line. So I've got the information here. Give me just a second. Let me have it listed, and there we were. So that was a couple of things what we had as part of this particular webinar. Now you can start following us for all of our upcoming webinars which are related to Azure, Dynamics 365, Business Central, finance and operations, customer engagements, multiple things. It's quite easy. How do you register for them? You pretty much go to the location wherever you want yourself to be registered. So at that particular point of time, you can always visit us as GTechLearn.com. Click on the events here and you will see all the upcoming events with the dates and times. Feel free to register. These are all the no-cost events available over there. At the same time, please follow us on the social media channels to get the latest updates right across. We are available on linkedin.com company/GTechLearn, facebook.com/GTechLearn, youtube.com/channels for C/GTechLearn VOD, the video on demand down here. Now that was essentially what we had as part of this webinar. Now we can have some questions here. So let's see, we've got a couple of questions down the line. Do we don't have these role centers features in the earlier versions of Navisions? The answer is absolutely yes, you do. You do have all these role centers starting from Nav version 5.0, and they've been continued with efficiencies and enhanced releases. And in Business Central as well, we've got those continued access down here. Is there a link to access your showcased Business Central? So guys, you can always activate a free trial from Microsoft, but recently that free trial option's been removed from there. So if I show you that, the URL used to be trials.dynamics.com. And from here, you can activate a free trial for sales, customer service, field service, project service automation, HR, retail, and finance and operations. So Business Central no longer available over here to have for a free trial. What you can either do if you want to go for practice and pretty much the POCs, you can move to labshosting.com. And that site will give you the subscription based access either for daily or either for monthly basis. You can always subscribe it right from here. If you're in a trial for a day, activate your free trial for a single day right from here, and the IT team will be sending you all that information. I've got another question here, which is talking about, can we still use CAL IDE? The answer is no. CAL is still the standard client application language, but the CAL IDE is gone. You'd be using the Visual Studio Core with the CAL extensions on top of it. The performance of Business Central is quite good, guys, quite great. But once again, that depends. One, are you doing an on-prem implementation? Are you doing a cloud-hosted implementation? Second, what is going to be my server compute and storage layer which I'm planning? Third, how many total users we are talking about? The number of concurrent users, the number of transactions per hour, the location where the server is being deployed, the latency to the location. So plenty of factors which can impact the performance. Otherwise, it's been great right across in here. So when we talk about all these functionalities, we've got these Business Central options available at the same place. Now, when we talk about what is the licensing model for Business Central, so there are two licensing models currently available. If you're talking about the on-prem implementations, you got a server license and you got the CALs, the client access licenses. But if you talk about a cloud-hosted licensing functionality, you've got a SAL model, that is subscription access license. You pay per user per month to Microsoft, and Microsoft takes care of the rest. For example, you want to go for Business Central licensing pricing. So you want to go for a cloud-hosted environment, you pretty much go to dynamics.com, and right from there you can have your pricing associated. So when you talk about pricing, for example, the Business Central Essentials costing you $70 per user per month, or premium, or a team member license. And of course, you can contact a partner who's your partner implementation or partner of record. They can give you some better deals on licensing as well. But we've got the subscription access model available down there. So question, are we working up with the still connecting with object IDs what we used to do earlier? Absolutely yes. So you had the pages, you had the reports, you had the code units, you had the XML ports, data ports being replicated or merged into XML ports itself, the menu suite options. So they're still working with the object ID concepts down there. Okay, I've got another question there. What about the customers having NAV 2017? So they can still use that, and great information. Microsoft is offering a free upgrade in terms of licensing pricing if they want to move from NAV 2017 to Business Central. Of course, that the cost relaxation is on licensing, not on the upgrade what they will be doing and the partners would be charging across over there. Okay. Perfect. Got another question. My customers having 150 to 160 concurrent users, can this support? Well, the answer is going to be yes, it does. So when you talk about number of users, whether it is 5, whether it is 50, whether it is 500, depending on the scale of implementation, you can pretty much have this operations down the line. So Business Central, the latest or the largest implementation we tested was for 12,000 users on 16 different countries accessing Business Central down the line. So that was great in terms of availability. And at any given point of time, there were 4,000 to 4,500 concurrent users down the line. And that provides multiple options. So you do have integration of Business Central with Power Platform. And when I say Power Platform, you do have integration with Power Apps, you do have integration with Power Automate, you do have integration available with your Power Virtual Agents for the chatbots. You do have integrations available when we talk about our Power BI. So all these components which were available as part of your the Power Platform, they are completely integrated with Business Central. On top of it, you do have multiple options. You do have the Office applications, you do have Azure services down there that could also be integrated with the supported connectors down there. So we've got some great upcoming webinars on Power Platform with more detailed versions of that. Tune into our upcoming events and you should be seeing all these values coming up across in there. Great. So that was what we had as part of this particular webinar, guys. Introduction to our Business Central Dynamics 365. I thank you all for joining us on this live event, and the recordings of the session would be available on our YouTube channel. You can feel free to visit us at any point of time for any of our past webinars as well. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a good day. Bye-bye.